Hey everybody, I am Stacy, the owner and artist of New Creations by Stacy. I'm an elite Dixie Belle retailer here at the Rustic Willow in Ardmore, Alabama. And tonight we're just gonna come on and we're gonna do some finishing touches on this Retro Peacock Vanity here. So as you guys are jumping on, just say hey, where you're watching from. Hey mom, I see her on. But just say hey, where you're watching from. If you guys have any questions, it doesn't have to pertain to what we're doing tonight. Definitely ask them. If I miss anything, I will come back and answer them after the live. And also in the link, I do have a product description. Hey, Teresa. I do have a product description of everything we're going to be using tonight. And I'll go ahead and start just by giving you an idea of what we've already done. And I have done 2 lives on this piece already. Hey, Jennifer. Oh, wow, from Arizona. Hopefully you guys are warm. We're freezing here. I've had chills all day, and it's just getting colder. Of course, we're in Alabama. It's like 4 seasons in one day. But so anyway, on this piece here, of course, I started off by cleaning it with White Lightning, which is just it's a TSP-based solution. It's specifically to prep for paint. And so once I cleaned that off really well, this is cherry, and it was a huge bleeder. So I did go ahead and coat it with 2 coats of Boss. This is a really dark color, so I may not have needed that, but I wasn't really sure what I was going to go with to begin with. Hey, Thelma. Hey. Oh, from Virginia. Yeah, I don't have my glasses on. I can't see very well, but I'm trying to follow everybody. So, like I said, I did do 2 coats of Boss on this, and then now I painted it live, and this is a blend. Oh, I know. I love this. I love this transfer so much more than I even thought I would once I started using it. But I did go ahead and paint it live, and this is a blend of, what was it? It's kudzu for the highlights. It looks so blue on here, but it's got some gorgeous green highlights in here. And then I also did Bunker Hill blue. That's the really darker blue on here. And then Antebellum, and this is, it's blue, but it's more like kind of a teal blue. It's got a little green undertone to it. So it's a blend on here. And then, of course, the Retro Peacock, which is the awesome part of this piece. But, so that's where I'm at right now. Oh, sorry. I have done 2 coats of protectant with the clear coat in flat on here as well. And then I've stained the top in espresso, and that's actually where we're going to start. We are going ahead, we're going to protect the top up here, and then we're going to come down, we're going to do some black wax, and I'm thinking I want to put some aged brass highlights on here, so we're going to work with that. Hey, Amber! So we're going to work with that, and then also we're going to use some Big Mama's butter, so you guys can see, like if you have drawers that stick or whatnot. Hey, Pam, if you have drawers that stick or something like that, how you can kind of correct that. So we'll go ahead and get started so I can fit everything in. And I've got some coffee here. I actually worked a sale today, so I'm a little bit tired, but of course coffee will fix that. I'll probably be up all night. And you guys, I have so many pieces coming. I'm going to bring you in a little bit and move this forward. But I have so many pieces coming that I've just gotten finished up, and I'll be staging this weekend. Oh, and you see my little doggy down here? She's wearing diapers. I was sick when she was supposed to get spayed, so she's in heat now. Hopefully, she'll be kind of quiet here. So I'm going to bring you in just kind of as close as I can here so you can get a good look at what we're doing. And like I said, I'm going to be using clear coat and flat. And with the clear coat, so sometimes people have a few problems with, oh, thanks, Jennifer. This isn't bad at all. This is the fun. Well, actually, I have fun. On occasion, I work some estate sales, so that's what I was doing today. But sometimes people will get streaking, like when they use gator hide or like a satin or a gloss. So I'm actually protecting this in flat, but what we're doing right here, a little trick to kind of help with that or to avoid streaking is on your first coat, do a coat of flat. And that'll help that satin kind of glide over and go on smoother, or the gator hide as well. And that will help prevent any streaks. So I will actually do 3 coats on top of here. And I'm applying this with an applicator pad. And you know what? I should have dusted this off right quick first because I've got some fuzzies. And I definitely don't want to protect these in here. Let me go ahead and just wipe this off. So this is espresso, and it's our no pain gel stain. It's an oil-based gel stain, and it takes about 3 to 5 days to fully dry before you can protect it. It's gonna feel dry to you after about 24 hours. I just don't want to get those little streaks in there, or spots, speckles, whatever. But it'll feel dry to you in about 24 hours, but you really, really want to wait to stain it. So I just want to tell you something. What I just did there, if I was not using flat, I wouldn't have gone back over that spot over there, because you don't want to overwork your clear coat. That's another way that you end up getting streaks in it and stuff like that. But the applicator pad is definitely one of my favorite ways to apply protectant. It just goes on so nice and smooth. It does help to avoid streaks. You're going to avoid getting any brush strokes if you're kind of heavy-handed. You just want to make sure that you kind of keep it going in a straight line. And you see me doing it this way because a lot of times I've still got some fuzzies here. If you stand in front or behind your piece, you're naturally going to arc your arm. So you can end up with like a curve, and you will see that. So that's why I always try to stand off to one side so that I can make sure I'm kind of going in a straight line. And you see it doesn't take a whole lot of protectant here. And I am typically a very thin coater anyway, which is one reason why I do so many coats. So that'll also help if you're using like the gator hide and satin or clear. Maybe it's my app pad that has these little fuzzies on it, but that's okay. Just getting them off. I'm just kind of picking them off. And so with the app pad, I just wash this out with soap and water once I'm done. And I'm just going to go around the edges right quick. And usually I will give it about 1 to 2 hours. It kind of depends on I've got to have a little bit more protectant. It kind of depends on, if it's really hot or humid, how long this takes to dry. But I can coat it again in about 1 to 2 hours. And then those will be my last steps. So if you wanted a satin sheen, or if you wanted to protect it with something like gator hide, then all you have to do is do this coat once that we're doing right now. And then you use the same method, and you can put on your gator hide or your clear coat in gloss or satin, whichever you prefer. And just get in my edges. So it goes on looking a little bit milky sometimes, and that's okay. It's going to dry perfectly clear, because see, when you see it on the plate, let me get it out of the glare. I'll bring it up again. It looks white. And that's normal. Sometimes it's, like if you get the satin, it's a little bit thicker. Just getting that overlap on the edges off. And that's it. Super quick and easy. Pretty pain-free. So I'm going to go ahead and back it up now. And then I'm going to drop you guys down so you can really kind of see what we're going to be doing here with the black wax. I'm going to go ahead and thin that out over there a little bit. And I'm going to put my applicator pad in water because I don't want that to dry on there before I get a chance to wash it out after the live. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and bring you guys forward. And let's drop down. Just want to make sure you have a pretty good view of this. And I want to, I'm really, I've got 2 videos. You can do like a hashtag live search on my page. And I've got 2 here. I'm going to bring you down just a little bit more and kind of put you straight on. So you can really see what's going on. Let's see here. We'll go ahead and start. Let's go ahead and start on this side over here. I took this paint out to show you the colors, and then I've got it in the way. There we go. Don't pay attention to me. All right, so on this piece, I'm really loving how it is already, so I'm a little nervous about doing too much to it and overworking it, but I definitely need some more dimension, especially like in these grooves right here, as well as, you know, on my border, my trim down here, my trim up here. So I'm going to start off with the black Best-Dang wax, but if I don't like where I'm going with this, I'm going to end up taking it off once we get to the aged brass. Because I just don't know how much of a metallic I want on here. Let me just kind of scroll down. Hey, Cheryl. Yeah, right. Do the flat. So Amber asked about doing the flat first and then the satin or gator hide. Yes, so that's just a little trick to try to help avoid streaks, is do flat first and then go over it with satin or gator hide. And gator hide kind of has, or gloss. I never use gloss. I think I've maybe used gloss once or twice in 7 years. But it's just, I'm not a huge gloss fan. But like I said, and then go over it with that. And gloss is actually a lot thinner too. So that helps some. But doing a flat first will help you avoid any streaks. And you don't have to do additional coats either. So you can do 1 coat of flat and then 2 coats of satin, or 1 coat of flat and 2 coats of gator hide, just whatever it is that you're wanting. And like I said, gator hide has a finish a lot like satin as far as the sheen goes. Let me just scroll this back, make sure I didn't miss anything else. Let's see. Yep. Perfect. All right. So, this is the, boy, I've got a lot of glare going on tonight. This is the black Best-Dang wax though. And you can see mine's pretty well used. Just to give you an idea, this is soft in the middle and it's a little bit hardened around the edges. And I like that because depending on what my objective is, I like to use different parts of it. So I actually like it once I've really started to use it and it's starting to dry out around the edges a little bit. So what I want to do, and this is just a small natural bristle art brush. You can pick them up at any craft store. And this is because I don't want to get black wax all over this. I just want it in specific places, kind of to pinstripe it a little bit. By the way, I normally never put my hardware on before I do these steps, but I did it now because, like I said, I love this piece. I love the way it is, and I want to get the full overall picture before I start going too far into, you know, a design. I can make anything complicated. I just want to tell you. you know, I start getting ideas and then I just go wild. So I'm trying to prevent myself from doing that. So I'm just putting a tiny bit of the hard part of the wax on here. Hey, Wanda. A tiny bit on here, and I'm just going to go down through these lines. And I debated on whether I wanted to use the besting wax or if I wanted to use the black gilding wax. But I did decide to go with the black besting wax. So let me tell you one other thing too about this. I always protect before I put on my wax. And the reason I do that, and you can protect with a clear wax, you could protect with Easy Peasy, any of those options. But the reason that I do that is chalk paint is incredibly porous. And as a matter of fact, like now that it's protected, I can touch it and you don't see any little white spots or anything like that. But like before this is protected, I can just rub my hand on here. Oh, what? Wanda's painting a concrete floor. So anyway, she was just saying she ripped up all the carpet. That's a huge job. I can't wait to see it though. But so I would leave marks on this. So if I would put wax directly onto the chalk paint, it is, if I put this on and I hadn't protected it, it's going to look just like this, which is not, it's not a good look. So that's why I add the protectant first, because it makes the wax workable for me. So if I get some on this outside edge, all I have to do is wipe it right off. So in the scheme of things, I normally protect in satin, especially if I'm going to wax. But I really liked this in flat. Because again, I like to do a coat of flat so I can avoid any streaks on a dark color like this. But I really liked it, so I left it flat. But flat, think about your wall paint. If you paint your wall in like matte, you can't go back and wash it. You know, if you get a spot on it, you really have to do a touch-up paint. You just can't wash it off. This paint is a lot like that. So if you have a satin finish, you can wash it easily. Same thing here. So that's why I'm being a little more careful, because this is flat. But there are ways too that I can pull it back. So I'm going to go in and soften this up right here so that it's not so hard looking. And it's more of a, it's just more of a shadow like. And it does take your wax a little while to fully set up. So you have quite a bit of work time here. And if you don't want to wipe it back as much, then you can wait 15 or 20 minutes. It'll set up a little bit more, and then you can take it back. I want this to be very, very subtle. So I am wiping a lot back. I don't know if you can tell how it's so subtle here, but it's still really dark and thick right there. And I am only doing this because it looked too flat without it. So that's why I'm adding this in right here. But I'm not going to be doing any shading on the drawers or anything like this. I only want to do this in the details. So I like that so far. And I'm not even going to do the shading like down around here. Normally I would do a lot of that. Do I spray it, or did you hand seal this piece? So I hate spraying. I hand do everything. I have a sprayer, but so I don't like to clean. I just don't. And I'm going to raise you up so you can see this top part. I don't like to clean. And I feel like the difference between me hand sealing and spray sealing, it's not a huge difference in time. But one I'm painting, and the other one I paint for like 5 minutes with the sprayer, and then I spend the rest of the time cleaning it out. So I don't like spraying. Like, I enjoy I enjoy doing everything by hand. So that's what I do. And I get these urges like, oh, it'd be so much easier if I did this, and then I spray and I never do it again. And then I might try it in a couple years again, and I still don't like it. So, yeah, that's, I would rather sit, and usually I listen to a book while I paint, and I just get lost. It's so relaxing to me. So I do everything by hand. And I'm also a very thin painter, so I don't have a lot of issues with brush strokes too. So that's helpful when it comes to doing it by hand as well. So right now we're gonna work on, well actually, let's work on this trim right here. So I'm just gonna use the same brush. A lot of times when you see me do trim, I use the La Petite brush, but I do not want, I want to be very careful with where I put my wax. All I want to do is to highlight everything. So we're going to get this in here. Yes, I've been working like crazy this week. I should have 5 pieces to stage this weekend. So I'll have a lot of post of pieces this week. Kind of just coming back from being sick and getting my energy level back. So I'm just working this in really good because this is a very detailed trim that I put on here. This is, and I forgot to say this, but this is Would You Bend. And I also filled the original holes too with Dixie mud. But this is just some Would You Bend trim that I put on here. I'm going to go ahead and just take this off the top. Now this is, I think, where we're going to do the aged brass too. And this Besting wax, it is water-based, so it's a soap and water cleanup. But the metallic wax that we're going to put on it is oil-based. So let's go ahead. We're going to do this bottom section. Oh, thanks, Mert. All right. And I could actually use a bigger brush on this section down here, but it's fine. I just want to get in the details. And I can go a little bit faster. And once this wax dries on here tomorrow too, it won't be, it'll look a little bit different than it does right now. I don't want to get my head in the way. I'm just kind of scrubbing this into the details. And this just gives it a lot of dimension. And when I'm doing this part down here, by the way, I'm using the softer wax in the middle of my jar or can here, because I really want to work this in. I'm not going for that pinstripe look. That harder wax, it's easier to have more control over it. And this is easier to work into the details and spread it around. Like I said, I'm using flat, so it gives me the ability to work it back, but it doesn't, it's not quite as much as satin. So I've just got, all this is a cotton cloth, and it is, it's one of those lint-free ones, so you don't want to use one that's really linty. It'll get stuck in your wax and dry in there. It'll harden in it. So you can use like a t-shirt, like a cotton t-shirt. That generally works as well. You can wash these in the washing machine. So I'm always using, I just hit that over there. So now one other thing too, if I like missed a spot and was having a trouble wiping this back, I could use my clear wax And that acts almost like an eraser, and I can pull it back a little bit. I'm peeking to peacock. I know, you know what? This is such a unique peacock. Like, I love, and I love, love, love the colors in it. Love them. I'm loving all the new Dixie Belle transfers, though. They did an amazing job this time. Plus, when they came out with their first round of transfers, I like the fact that they listened. When they came out with their first round of transfers, everything was like one directional. So see like how this peacock is like looking this way. The design is bringing your eye back here. Hey, Kaylee. The design is bringing your eye back this way, keeping it on the piece. A lot of the transfers didn't have that. It was just everything was going this way. But on their new round of transfers, they have a lot of different directions. So it's really so much easier to make the designs. Yeah, I know, Amber. They did amazing. Amazing. Oh, my granddaughter Naraya's watching. Oh, my baby. I miss her. They just moved so they used to live down the street, but on the 28th of December, they just moved to Louisville, Kentucky. And I am just missing her so, so much. But anyway, so what we're doing right here, so you can wax over a transfer as well. You can, if you have the protectant in between. So transfers don't like oil-based products. But as long as you put a protectant in between here, it's fine to put it on there. Oh, she said she's liking my live more than Coco Melon. Oh, my baby. Oh, I can't wait to see. They just came to visit last weekend, but I'm ready to see her again. She used to live right down the street, so I got to see her like regularly. So I am liking the black wax good, because I was, like I said, a little bit nervous. And we're going to move on to the next step here in a minute, because I want to get through several things. And I'm going to have this piece finished probably this weekend. I've still got a little more work to do on the mirror. It's got the mirror with the posts on the side. I really wanted to put some trim on it, but I ran out of the wood you bend, and they're out right now, so. All right, so again, just going in here. This is more the hard wax. I'm trying to keep it the hard portion of the wax, just because it's easier to keep that line. And then we're just going back here and pulling this out. Actually, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and do this top part up here too, and then we'll go. So normally I would let this wax, this Bestang wax, sit a little bit before I went in. Oh, let me raise you up. Before I went in and I'd let it sit before I went in and did the gilding wax on here, but it'll be fine. I'm just doing this one small section, and it's not going to hurt it any. But your oil-based stuff is the very, very last thing that you want to do. And we're going to, the Big Mama's Better is oil-based too. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Hey, Evelyn. All right, so we're just going to wipe that back so we just have a nice shadow. Sometimes it's really hard to see because I can see it here since I wiped it back, but I'm not sure you can really tell on camera. It does. It really gives it a lot of, it gives it a lot more dimension. So it looks, I don't know, it looks more natural, I guess. I don't know how else to explain it. But anyway, we've got the black wax just on this section here. And so these, obviously, these are not the original handles. I ordered these off Amazon, these bars. I wanted to kind of give it a little bit of a more modern look. And so I'm going to be using, this is actually a redesign with Prima product. It's Art Alchemy. I've just got an aged brass here. And it is oil-based. It works a lot like the Dixie Belle gilding waxes, which is what you normally see me use. And if you only have Dixie Belle waxes, you can mix, and I've done this before, but you can mix bronze and gold and kind of come up. Well, I've got so much glare here. Let me see if I can turn off my one light. See if that's a little bit better. Nah. It's my other lights back here that are causing the glare, but you can mix up the gold and the bronze a little bit, and you can kind of get that aged brass look, which I've done before, but why not just use the aged brass? And I do carry Redesign with Prima, these art alchemy waxes. The new ones actually come in a tube. I've got a lot of old ones, but the new ones, it comes in a tube like this. I do carry those at Vintage 72 locally. I don't really have them on my website though. But you can kind of see kind of how it looks here. And I'm just going to use my finger. You can use your finger. You can use, and I want this to be very, very subtle. But you can use your finger. You can use a brush. Just whatever you want there. And like I said, I want it to be subtle. And one thing about these, what I think as far as these art alchemy waxes are concerned, when they dry, which is about 12 to 24 hours, they are not as metallic-y as like the gilding waxes. So the gilding waxes, they, in my opinion, just my opinion, they hold their shine a lot more. Oh, Mert, you want to upgrade your desk? Yes, of course you can. We can trade. So they hold their shine a lot more. And this will be a lot more subtle. And I want this to be subtle. But this will be a lot more subtle tomorrow. And you can go back in and buff them after about 12 or 24 hours. I think I'm only going to do one section though, because I do want to see what this looks like before I commit to it. I kind of want to look at it for a little bit. I'm just not, I don't know. This is the part I just wasn't sure about. So if I want to remove this later though, before it's completely dry, I can use mineral spirits to pull this back, but I'm thinking I'm liking it. I might even go over it with a little bit of, ooh, actually I really like it, I think. Maybe I might do more. Yeah, I do. So let's do this. Sometimes I don't always have it solidified in my mind what I want to do, and I kind of, as I go, I kind of do different things. I know, and you know what? I'm going to tell you. I love my Dixie Belle waxes. I do. And I do feel like they hold their shine a little bit better. But man, these Prima waxes smell amazing for an oil-based wax. Amazing. And I love them. They have like rose gold, all kinds of colors that, you know, Dixie Belle doesn't necessarily have. But this is my Dixie Belle Gold here. And I think, oh yes, I'm just hitting this a little bit more. Ooh, I'm loving this. I'm just hitting this a little bit more with this gold. Very, very light. You know, sometimes metallics don't always show up very well on here. So hopefully this is, but I'm going light. But I love that dimension that's given it. Oh yeah, I do. This is definitely the direction I'm going to go. And I'm going to highlight all of these and use, this is exactly what I'm going to do. So I will be posting final pictures of this soon. This will be finished up this weekend. I'm not going to go any further with this because we don't have a whole lot of time. So I will not protect over this oil-based wax. And I won't even, so sometimes I do protect over my besting wax, but you really have to wait a while before you do that. Almost, I've heard people say 72 hours, but I have gone back over mine after 72 hours. I don't spray. So that's, if you spray, then there's, you know, you can do it. You really could probably do it at 72 hours. But if you're protecting with a brush, you almost have to wait like 5 to 7 days at least, because otherwise sometimes your wax will like pull. But wax is a protectant in and of itself. So I don't, that's why I put so many coats on too sometimes before the wax. Because I do not necessarily protect over the wax, and I never protect over my gilding wax, because a water-based product over an oil-based product, you really need at minimum 30 days for it to be good. You're going to hear people say you can do it faster than that, but in my experience, it just doesn't really stick. It's not really giving you the protection that it should. And not brown since you have espresso color top. I prefer black wax, even if brown wax to me has a reddish tint. This is just my opinion, by the way. I've seen tons of people do wonderful, beautiful things. I like black wax. I have a lot of dark colors on here, so I feel like it mixes in very well. The espresso is really dark, almost black looking in some places in the grain, so I feel like it mixes together. But the Dixie Belle Besting wax to me kind of has almost like a reddish undertone. So usually I will mix the brown and the black together if I want some brown undertones in it, so I can kind of get that red out of it. But that's just me. Like, completely my opinion. I've seen tons of pieces I love that people do with the brown wax, but yeah, I don't know. It's just not my thing. But that's why I went with this. Oh, if I could show you, I don't have it out here. I was going to say, if I had the brown wax, I would actually show you a little. You know what? Hold on. I'll grab it so you can kind of see it. Hold on. So see, it looks really brown in here, but I really don't use brown wax that much. You can tell, and you can tell where I scoop out to mix it. Only I don't have another wax brush out here at all. All right, well, oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to show you so that way you could, you know, really see what I was talking about. Hey, from Iowa, Marianne. But this, like I said, it looks really brown in here, but once I put it on, I always feel like it has that red tint to it. But again, that could just be me. So that's where we're at with this. So the last thing that I wanted to show you guys, and this is always my very, very, very last step. Yeah, I guess I could. Here, let me do that. I'm just going to stick it somewhere and wipe it back. Oh, I just used my finger. I opened the Big Mama's butter instead. Hold on. Oh, and that stuff smells so good too. I love the Big Mama's butter. Here we go. All right. So let's see. If I just stick it up here. See, to me, well, on camera, it still looks really dark. Let me see if I can bring you guys in. Yeah, well, on camera, it still looks really dark, but when I actually look at it here, it looks like it has that reddish undertone to me. And it looks dark where I just wiped it off, too. Yeah, see, that's not a good example. Well, sorry, that didn't come out so well, but that's why I did it. Yeah, so over collard greens, I bet it would, because it's probably going to, well, collard greens, so red and green, they're complementary. So if it does have an undertone like that, it's really going to complement. But also collard greens is a really dark color, so I bet it's going to darken it up. I don't use brown a lot at all. And it's mainly over light colors that I usually want to do brown, and that's where I see that undertone. So let's go ahead. We're going to bring this drawer out. And these drawer slides, I mean, they slide pretty well anyway. But I always, and I'll do it in here later, so these slide pretty well. So I did not have to sand this down or anything else. But I like to go ahead and make it glide really smoothly because they are old. And I just use my French tip brush. I had used this brush a lot already, so then I kind of transitioned it into, this Big Mama's Butter brush. And I don't really wash it out. It's oil-based, so it isn't a soap and water cleanup. So I just always use this, never wash it. And all I'm going to do is run this up and down the drawer slides. And I really like to put it around the bottom as well. And so this dries to a matte finish, by the way, and it's going to help condition the wood. It's going to make it smell wonderful too. I always use the Orange Grove because I'm kind of sensitive to smells. But we have it in Eternity. It comes in Eternity and, or Eternal, not Eternity. It comes in Eternal and Suzanne's Garden. And then there's also an unscented one. But it goes a long way. You don't have to use a ton of it. I just put it on any area that's going to kind of be sliding against wood. You cannot put paint over this because, again, it's oil-based. So, I do this. This is why this is always my last step. And I'm just going to go ahead and sometimes I do the drawer slides when it's got this full encasing. And especially, so this isn't a fix-it. I want to be clear about that because, you know, when your drawers sit in, it's easy for this ledge to scrape over time, you know, to distress out some. So I like to do this Big Mama's Butter because I feel like it helps it slide well. And it prevents that from happening. I don't want to say it prevents it from happening, but it decreases the chance that it will happen, I feel like. So I just like to rub this all on here, and that's it. We're going to go ahead. I may not be able to get in here with this brush, in which case I have a rag that I use with this. And I just want to run the Big Mama's Butter over here. You can use Big Mama's Butter as protectant, but I don't. I just don't feel like it's the protectant that offers me the best. So I will use the rag whenever I do the other ones, but so I can get in here pretty good. But it doesn't take a whole lot. I just rub it back here. Make sure I coat these sides. I should have gotten my rag out. It's just such a small spot. And then I will usually go ahead and go over this section right here with it as well. Again, just to help that drawer slide really nicely. And these drawers didn't have a problem to begin with, but I just find that it helps so that it doesn't naturally distress it out when it's sliding in and out. So you can see how smooth that makes it go. So that is it. Those are all the steps that I will be going through to finish up this piece. And then I will post final pictures. But thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight. If you know anybody who could use this video, please share it. And I think that's about it. And by the way, if you guys are local, definitely come in and see us at the Rustic Willow in Ardmore, Alabama. And this piece will actually be available at Vintage 72 probably Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll have it stocked. Oh, thank you, Amber. Thank you, Marianne. Hey, Trish. All right, so that's it. If you guys have any questions or if I missed anything, I'll go back and check. And you guys take care. Have a wonderful weekend. Have fun. Hopefully everybody's warm.